Hi everyone, welcome to the newest vlog, Respect My Authority, which is about this book, Obedience to Authority. It is the case study of Stanley Milgram's experiment from the late 60s and 70s that questions why humans do what they do if they don't want to do it. How do we feel when we think there's someone in a position of authority? How does that dictate our actions? So it's nonfiction, which, fine, I like nonfiction, I read it. You know, the study of Chicago's housing law was particularly interesting, and all other, dead white men, fine. But this is very different for me. It was suggested by a friend, and thank you, because I wouldn't have found it otherwise. The first, I'm going to say 2/3 of the book talks about the experiment itself and different variations, which I found very interesting. The experiment basically involves three people. The first person is the experimenter, the one in charge. The second person is called the teacher. He's the one actually being studied. And then the third person is the test taker, who's in on it. So the teacher has to read some word pairings that the test taker should have studied and memorized. And then if the test taker gets the answer wrong, the teacher has to deliver a little shock because the test taker has some electrodes plugged into his hands. Charming. And at first, fine, no big deal, 15 volts, fine. But as more and more questions get answered incorrectly, the voltage increases, and to the point where the test taker is screaming, I don't want to do this hurts, I have a heart condition, let me out. Okay, you understand he's not actually being shocked, but the teacher thinks he is being shocked. And so at what point does he stand up and say, I won't do this anymore? As it comes to be, actually not very frequently, they would turn to the experimenter and say, should I stop? And the experimenter says, no, you must keep going. The experiment requires that you continue. And he would, up until like 450 volts, which would kill a horse. So, but they would do it because they thought they had to. And there were different variations of the experiment. Women were brought in at some point, and what if there were two experimenters, so two authority figures, but they didn't agree? What if there were two test takers who were fighting over? So there are different variations, but the bottom line was always the same, is that when you think that someone has authority over you, you may probably do something that you know is wrong, but you do it anyway. And this was in direct correlation to after the Nuremberg trials and after Nazi Germany is, why did you kill all those people? Why did you torture those people? Well, I was following orders. It wasn't me. I was told to. And so it's that kind of study of the human psyche. The last third of the book is more about the psychological, that's my word, reason behind this. I found that part less interesting. That's just me. I took psychology in college, it was an easy science credit. I got a B, so I'm pleased with that. But I just didn't enjoy that as much as I did the first 2/3, where it was really the reactions of the people and the post-experiment interviews and how they tried to explain what they did and so on and so forth. So a very different book from what I usually read, but I think it was interesting. It's not very long, so you could easily power through it in a couple of days and have a think about what would I do in that situation. If I thought I was really hurting someone, a stranger, would I still do it if I thought I had to, or would I stand up and be principled? And I'm sure I have no principles when it comes down to something like this, so I would cave. Anyway, check it out. Obedience to Authority, Stanley Milgram. See if you like it. Bye.